This is the DevOps India Summit 2019 here at Bangalore, India. I am Riya Kumar and joining me now is Sanjeev Sharma, VP of Data Modernization and Strategy at Delphix. First of all, Sanjeev, a very warm welcome to the DOIS 19. How are you feeling to be a part of this?
Well, thanks for having me here, Riya, and looking forward to this interview. I'm enjoying the conference. This is my first time here. Actually, I think this is the first ever technology conference I'm attending in India.
Oh.
So, you know, I usually come here for work and for personal visits, but never to be at a conference. So it's pretty interesting to see and meet some of the people here.
Yeah.
The conference seems very interesting.
Yeah, and we have seen you, giving a lot of talks on DevOps and a lot of platforms, and you're going to speak tomorrow as well. What are you going to speak tomorrow about?
So yeah, I speak at conferences and events very often. I've got some YouTube videos, and I'm going to continue on some of the themes which we are seeing in DevOps, right? One of the challenges which we at Delphix address is how to handle the data layer of DevOps, right? Most of the work done in the DevOps world so far has been in addressing the infrastructure automation and in the application build and deployment automation. But what about the data? So that's going to be the theme of my talk tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. And the theme for this year's conference is DevOps and Cloud, Collaboration for Business Success. How do you think these two things go hand in hand in ensuring business success?
I think to me, if you really want to leverage the cloud, the real value of the cloud is in leveraging cloud services, right? Because the cloud is not just servers running in somebody else's data center. It is the cloud providers providing different services which developers can consume in their applications and in their systems and reduce the amount of work they have to do, right? So I as a developer only write the code which is unique to my application and the business problems I solve. The rest I can consume. So to me, in order to properly consume them, you have to be doing DevOps. You have to have the automation in place. You have to have the ability to deploy and change very rapidly. Otherwise, you're still doing old school kind of development.
Right.
So I think cloud and DevOps go hand in hand. To me, DevOps is a prerequisite to leveraging the cloud.
Right. And speaking about the problems that you were just mentioning, what are the typical challenges that you find large enterprises face when incorporating DevOps in their infrastructure?
So I think, well, a couple of things to recognize about large enterprises that they are not monolithic, they are not homogeneous, right? I always joke that if you get off at the wrong floor in most of these large companies, you feel like you are in another company. They'll be so different because different teams, different projects are at different levels of maturity. So the issue with challenges, the biggest challenge to answer your question which companies are facing, large enterprises are facing is how do I scale DevOps adoption? I can do DevOps very well, I can bring in a lot of automation with small teams and small projects. How do I scale it?
Right.
And that requires you to transform not just your infrastructure, but actually your organization and your culture. And that's the big challenge for companies to address.
Right. And how do you see the future of DevOps in the next 5 to 10 years from now?
So I think DevOps as a movement has matured a lot. I mean, look around at this conference only, right? I mean, it's sold out, right? I mean, there is, in fact, I met somebody today who has people who have come from New Zealand.
Yes.
I mean, they should change the name from DevOps India Summit to DevOps Asia Pacific Summit or something because there are people, it's truly an international event.
Right.
No company is today asking us, should I do DevOps or what is DevOps, how does it work for me? So the maturity is there. It's a question of how does DevOps need to be adapted for them. So what we are going to see is that DevOps will not be something which is a separate project, which is a separate effort. DevOps is something you do to do your daily work. Right? Like today, when we talk about developing and testing software, right? Somebody doesn't, it's not a separate project to test software. It is a part of the project of developing software includes the process of testing.
Right.
The same way all the things we do about DevOps, all these principles and automation we bring, I think down the road, it won't be something separate. There won't be DevOps teams in the company.
Right.
There'll be teams which develop software and a part of their job is to do what we today call DevOps. But I'll be very happy if the name goes away. It just becomes normal business as usual.
Not being specific to a particular name.
Exactly.
Altogether.
Because when you have a name, you have a definition and then people argue about the definition.
Then you become limited. Yeah.
And you start arguing about definition, about one person's opinion over others.
Right.
Even if I go back and read my book, which I wrote in 2017, the DevOps Adoption Playbook, even I myself look at it and go, God, this has changed so much in 2 years. I need to rewrite it, right? So it's an evolving field. So I think we will see that evolution continue. And that's the fun of it.
Right. And for people who are watching us right now, and if somebody wants to start on the DevOps journey, what recommendations would you like to give them?
Well, first of all, get my book. So it's a DevOps adoption playbook, but you know there are lots of great books out there. I think understand the principles. Don't get distracted by technology. Right? Eventually, it's a technology problem.
Right.
But I think people get too kind of stuck in the weeds around this technology versus that technology, right? Containers versus virtual machines, you know, this deployment tool versus that deployment tool. I think that is just a way to implement what you're trying to do. What people need to understand and spend time understanding is what are the principles. Why is one trying to do what one is trying to do? The how will be figured out, right? It is understanding what are the challenges we are trying to fix.
Right.
How can I go faster without breaking things? That's the goal.
All right. Thank you, Sanjeev, for giving your insights to us.
Thanks
Thank
for
you for
having
taking
me.
your time. Well,
Absolutely.
that was Sanjeev Sharma from Delphix with me, Riya Kumar, at the DevOps India Summit 2019 here at Bangalore. Thank you guys for watching.